Show you how to build a cradled wood panel. The first thing you need is a piece of 1/4 inch thick or 1/2 inch thick plywood, hardwood plywood. This is maple, birch also works, luan. There's many different kinds. You can research and find maybe what kind of surface you like to work on. You also need 1x2s. They come in many different lengths. This is a shorter one. This is a longer one. You also need ear and eye protection, measuring tape, wood glue, masking tape or painter's tape works fine, a drill, screws. These are 1 5/8" screws, 1.5" screws also works. And these are countersink bits. They are used when you screw in the cradle for the wood panel. You use these first so that the wood doesn't split. So these are just 2 different kinds, either will work. And that is what you need to get started.
The first step is going to be cutting the piece of wood to the size that you want. If you're going to be cutting across the long way, you're going to use the plywood saw, the really large saw that's angled really high. And if you're going to be cutting the long way, ripping, you're going to use the table saw. And it's important that you do that because safety issues. You want to make sure that you're safe while you're doing this. This is a panel saw. You learned about this in orientation. If you're unsure about how to use it, go to the attendant that's on duty. And this is what we're going to use since we're cutting across, so it's safer to use this than it is the table saw.
Okay, so this is the surface of our panel, which Brandon just cut. The next step is to make the cradle for it out of the 1x2 pieces of wood. So this surface is 24 by 23 inches. So now we have to measure these so that we can cut them with the chop saw. So we're going to measure down 24. Oh, and one other thing to remember about these actually is the edges usually have staples and stickers on them. They're not always cut square, so you usually want to chop the edges before you measure because you don't want to use the edges that they come on. So we will show you how to do that first. We're going to be cutting off the edges of this wood that sometimes have staples and stickers. We just want a square edge to measure the cradle from. So Brandon's going to show you how to cut this. Now that the edges of the wood are cut, we're going to measure to make the cradle. So since 2 of the sides are 24 inches long, we're going to measure and mark 24 inches. Side pieces, we can measure from this one. we're gonna cut these on the chop saw and put them together. Okay, so now we're gonna start on the cradle. The first thing you want to do is pre-drill with the countersink bit, so that way when the screw goes through, it's not going to break the wood. So it's on the end of my drill. I'm going to hold this piece down.
Actually, do you want to do it on the table?
Do what on the table?
I mean, you might want to do it like off the table since it's like...
But it's easier to hold. I'm not going to go... Oh yeah, I guess I am going to go through.
That's...
Yeah. So you can see there's like a little indent, so that will help the wood from splitting when you put a screw through it. So next you're going to take some glue and put it right on the edge. You don't need a whole lot. You can also have a wet rag to clean up any extra you have. So you want to place them together and make sure they're pretty even with each other. Hold it there for a minute. And take this out and put in a normal drill bit. Then hold them together pretty tight. This is also clamped down so it shouldn't move. Okay, so that's one side done. We can remove this clamp so we can clean off all the extra glue. Now we can do the same thing for the next side. So we're going to clamp this piece down again. Hopefully. Okay. So now, make sure you have the right side. So now I have this. I'm going to drill. So we have our indent again. Now we're going to glue this joint. Stick them together. Put the normal drill bit in again. Okay. So now we're done with 3 sides. Flip it around. And this is our last piece. It's going to go inside. So now we can pre-drill holes on both of the end sides, just like we did before. You want to be, when you do this, sort of close to the edge, so you make sure that when a screw goes through, it will line up with the other piece of wood. You don't want the screw to come out on the other side. So you want to be pretty close to the edge. So this one you want to make sure you do a little faster because it's 2 sides at once. So we're going to glue both ends and then screw one and screw the other. Okay, so this is our cradle, the panel.
Okay, now that we have our cradle, it's just a matter of attaching it to the surface. We have a few options at this point. We could either glue the entire cradle, attach the surface, and then tape it using carpenter's tape or masking tape, painter's tape.
It's so cute.
Okay, we're going to show you the version where you screw the surface to the cradle as opposed to just gluing it. So I'm going to start off by countersinking several holes just to start myself off and give me something to work with once I get it onto the actual cradle. Okay. Now we have all the holes countersinked, and it's just a matter of gluing the top of the cradle. You don't need a whole lot of glue, just enough to make a nice stable bond. Make sure we have it correctly aligned. And there you have it. It's nice and secure. You wipe off all the excess glue, and afterwards you just fill in the holes with wood putty, sand, and then you're done.
Let's see the back.
Yeah, like show the back, sides.
Beautiful.